Aquarius, welcome to Illuminated Tarot. My name is Jenna. Today I'm here to do a reading for you for mid-April. We're going to take a look at your recent past, your current energies, and what you may not see coming. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in, wherever you are. Let's get started, Aquarius. Thank you, Spirit, for presiding over this reading for Aquarius today. Let's look at some oracle messages here by way of sacred spirit. Ooh, you know what's funny is I was shuffling these a little bit beforehand, and no one has gotten this. I'm about halfway through the zodiac for mid-April, and you could feel like you have a rise in your empathy in a situation or just among all beings, a sacred reverence. We have the card of compassion. Kuan Yin sitting on a lotus. Your heart opening, Aquarius, in deep, profound ways to the cosmos, to the collective. Purification, yeah. You're going through a deep emotional purification. And when we do this work, we do become highly empathic and highly compassionate. I'm getting this is something you've needed to do for yourself. Towards self. And rest. Everybody's getting the call. I think we'll just say that the retrogrades and eclipses really wore everybody out, and Spirit is saying we all need to just go through a cleansing in our emotional states where we can return back to center. We have a happy dolphins swimming in the sea on a beautiful sunrise, sunset. You decide. Is the sun rising or is the sun setting? Either way, it's crimson. There's a new energy frequency permeating this planet at this time. I think all of us feel it. And it's allowing us to release old emotions, purging them, and doing it with a sense of reverence. It's almost like, rest in the new frequency, Aquarius, because you have a new level of compassion. And you are returning back to a calmer state of being, a more peaceful state of being. You could be feeling this shift. Feels like a shift in your energy. And this is going to be coming in deeper and deeper for the rest of the month. And your compassion, you may be feeling compassionate towards a person that you had to deal with during the retrograde and eclipses over the last few months, that you are now trying to forgive or soften to, or just come to a place. Once we come to a place of acceptance around our life circumstances, it's almost like whatever struggle you've had the last 3 or 4 months, you might have had a whole different level of energy around it and perspective. And now it's more like, okay, it happened. I need to release this. I don't want to hold on to it. And I think you might be surprised by how much empathy you're feeling and compassion. I'm getting that this is kind of like a retrospective energy post-retrograde for the collective, but you're feeling it the most, Aquarius, because no one's gotten the card of compassion thus far. All right, let's see. Let's go into the recent past. Let's see what happened here. Ooh, we have the King of Cups. The Page of Cups. The Two of Swords. Wow. You had a big decision that you were trying to make, or someone was trying to make around you, around a love offer. There's a lot of love here. Maybe it was an apology. When I say love offer, it could have been somebody new coming in. It also could have been someone you've been dealing with, and a softening, an opening, a curiosity, an innocence. Let's return back to a higher level of relating to each other on an emotional level, a mature emotional level. King of Cups is he's really good at self-regulating. He, she, they. It's an energy frequency of being loving and being centered and calm when approaching any kind of conflict. So you could have been embodying this, Aquarius, or you had somebody embodying this around you. I think you're looking at a situation saying, well, it needed to soften. There was resistance around that. And a decision needed to be made. Yeah, now things, wow, look at that. Whoa. Now we have the Hangman, the Queen of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. This is emotional. You've had a huge emotional tide. And the pause, I say this sometimes on the channel, but the pause is the shift. You've had some sort of pause, crossroads moment with a King of Cups in your life or a Queen of Cups. Whatever role you embody in your divine feminine or masculine, I say this because the most balanced people I meet have in equal parts of both masculine and feminine energies, where they take action and they lead their lives with love. And then they also nurture themselves and they lead their heart towards self-love. So because I'm saying love, it's because we have cup energy here. So there's a lot of love. I think this is you two coming back into balance with self, guarding your energy, safeguarding your energy, taking a time out so you can see something from a different perspective, to where it's now your focus is still on loving and nurturing, but you're looking more at what you need first versus what you need to give first. And it's a huge shift. I feel like they're saying it's a massive shift in your awareness, because you've had a tendency to pour your emotional energy into others, and now you're realizing how good it feels to pour that into you. Because the Nine of Cups is the type of emotional fulfillment we find within ourselves, not from anyone else. And it's almost like you can sustain this energy now without any help. It's like, I can tap in, Jenna. And it feels good. This is really beautiful energy. It's almost like you can sustain a higher heart coherence, and it makes you can fill that up, right? It's like increasing and amplifying your heart frequency. It's interesting. This is really fascinating me. We got some heavy air energy coming in, Aquarius, which is, you being dictated by the element of air. We have the Six of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and the Page of Swords. So there was resistance in the past around a choice to open up or to deepen or forgive. I believe this is someone around you, because you're so centered. I think that you've had something pierce your heart, and you have somebody around you that's kind of like, I feel like their energy is just not level. I don't want to say stable, because I don't want to imply that they're not in a stable place. There's something around feeling a generosity of love that someone's almost like resistant to give. And it's the way they show it. It's the way they communicate it. I think you're really turning your attention away from external validation around somebody to internal validation, and it's shifting the energy. You could feel like this person has done a little bit of breadcrumbing indirectly for some reason. It's just, I'm not getting someone who has bad intentions here, because this is somebody who has love for you. You have love for this person. This could have to do with you coming into balance with your heart and being conflicted about a decision here. You could go in one or two directions. And I think you're trying to learn what it's like to give selflessly to self instead of always to another or to people in general. Three of Pentacles. I love it. That's overshadowing. I was kind of waiting for it. I'm like, wait, let's see where we're heading here. What is the overall energy? It kind of is like when you read a story and it's the foreshadowing. That's what I see this card as, at least in the way I'm reading for this batch. Three of Pentacles. I mean, you are going to... Three of Pentacles lately for me has been unity consciousness. This is elevated frequencies in the heart space, because you're talking all heart here. And how do I get there? How do I sustain happiness? Good vibes. Yeah. You've got new people that have entered the scene that are really creating more personal growth for you. You may have even pulled away from certain people that have been in your life that you love, so you could get centered in self, and now that's attracting new people, because these feel like new people, this Three of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck, yeah, Three of Swords, which we talked about a second ago. I like this energy. We're going to leave that there. What you don't see coming is the Empress, the Page of Wands, and the Three of Swords. I think that you've had some sort of conflict with someone you really love or thought you would really love. I see a relationship here that's going through some sort of issue where you're trying to exercise compassion and purify your emotional waters around some strife that you've had around two people giving to this and communicating that. You have communication coming in, but you have a choice to respond with, I have my guard up, I've got my sword out, or I'm going to be open and I'm going to come from a place of compassion. Because I see like there's a choice here. You've had a choice, you've been learning. Okay, I can respond in kind, or I can take a moment to pause, right? Hangman. Look at what I need emotionally. Give that to myself first. Come from that equanimity place, that place of humility, the higher octave of love, and then respond. And I feel like you've been getting practice with somebody. I don't know who the King of Cups represents for you, Aquarius, but I think what you're learning is how to nurture yourself and lighten up the energies despite some pain that something has brought to you, brought to your door. I want to get a few frequencies here, Aquarius. Compassion. Wow. Wow. This could be somebody younger in your life. It could be a family member, because we have the Page of Cups here. This could be two parents trying to deal with their child, because we have two young energies here. It also could be the beginning stages of a love bond. Let's read this card of compassion, because now we have it here twice. And number 15 goes into 6, which is our soul bonds. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. Yeah. I think that you are definitely learning about unconditional love for self and other or others. Something has hurt you. It's the way someone shuts off their heart, almost like to the point where they're starting to realize how it's affecting you. I think before you maybe pushed this person and you were angered by it, or you had your way of responding to it. And now that you're softening, what's interesting is I see such a huge energetic shift between the recent past and the immediate future. And you have a choice to feed the pain or feed the love. And it doesn't mean you put up with someone mistreating you. I don't really necessarily see that. I see two people who really do love each other here. Or a couple, parents that love their child, and they're trying not to interfere, but they're exercising fierce compassion. And that's a hard thing to do. There's a beautiful higher major arcana around unconditional love here. We go from the Queen of Cups to the Empress, which is a huge difference. The Empress is all four queens. So this is embodying right action, right livelihood, right words. It's the embodiment of the divine feminine. And staying humble and open in that. Despite the hurt. It's like you're really showing. It's kind of the way of the week. It's like forgiveness. It's not an easy thing. It's a very difficult word for a lot of us because we want to hold on to the hurt. But you're looking at that hurt and you're saying, I can respond through that lens, or I can respond through love. That's true compassion, Aquarius. Something really beautiful unfolding here for you. Second half of April. I think you're protecting your energy, but you're also holding a very loving, nurturing space. I want to clarify. Let's go to a layer deeper here. Why is the Three of Pentacles here? We have the Two of Swords, the Five of Swords, Seven of Swords. Okay. Now we're going to a different layer here. And I see the King of Swords. Some of you might be deciding between two individuals if you are in dating. Sorry, that's the trash collector. This is also when you'd feel like you don't see a way out, right? Two of Swords, especially with the Five of Swords. It's like, I don't see a way to peace here. How do I elevate to a higher consciousness in the situation, given the data, which is strife, which is conflict, which is not seeing eye to eye, confusion? Am I under some sort of illusion here that this is going to work out? And then the more you start to go up into the head about that, the more you don't trust a situation. And Spirit's saying, okay, you're going through this. What is it mirroring back to you? It's saying protect your energy, but it doesn't mean that you go cold and you disconnect from your heart. In fact, you turn that energy inward and you give that to self and then see how it shifts. Instead of blame, being angry, obviously someone has, you could have caught somebody lying. You could just have a weird feeling in the pit of your stomach about something in the second half of April. And you could go to a really bad negative place with this if you want. Spirit is saying, this has such a Gandhi, this has such a Gandhi vibe. I'm not going to lie. No wonder we started out with Kuan Yin. Think of what an ascended master would do. I do that. Sometimes I'm like, what would Kuan Yin do? What would, Isis do? What would Jesus do? The thing that I've been realizing too, especially this week, and I think all of us have been hit over the head with this so many times, even when we perceive as something negative or bad happening in our lives, it's there to help us elevate. It's there to help us embody higher consciousness. It's called growth, and it's not easy because you have to step outside of the emotional churn of something and look at it and go, what is this teaching me? Am I resonating with this because of the wound or because of what I need to elevate spiritually so I can maintain a higher level of consciousness? So are we triggering wounds that we're not healing, or are we actually elevating out of the wound? And I see what you're doing. You're just saying, you know what, this is actually causing me more stress, because you go from the 2 to the 7. You go from the 2 to the 5 to the 7 of Swords. So it's almost like the more you try to exercise understanding and compassion, the more someone may be taking advantage of that, just to see how far they can push you. And I think it's really disappointing you. I feel that. You're just like, why does it have to be like this? And here's the thing. We can look at something and we can ask a million questions why. At the end of the day, it's someone else's darkness that you can do nothing about. Your job is to nurture self and to focus on your own inner well-being, your own emotional frequency. And I think that's what this is all teaching you. I need to start focusing on me because I'm allowing the situation to take me away from myself. I want to look at this 2 of Swords because you have it in the overall general energy here over this reading, and you have it in the recent past. It's almost like you're trying to shift the energy of something, and you're trying to come out of a crossroads, and you're trying to ground. Wow, you have definitely spent a long time trying to anchor this energy, almost to the point where we have the King of Pentacles, the Justice, and the 8 of Pentacles over the 2 of Swords. And this is around, it's almost like an energy where you're looking at something, you're saying, you know what, I see the potential of this individual, of this, or the potential of this relationship, and I feel like it could actually go really far. But why are they showing me so much less than that? And I think that you've been putting so much energy and time into this situation, or you've tried to learn from this dynamic for a long time. And what you're realizing is that your peace matters, your stability matters, that you need to make a choice that will allow you to ground your energy rather than take away from your stability. You have a choice right now. Some of you are making a huge choice in a position at work to remain because you put a lot of time and energy into it. You're trying to make a huge decision about your life path at this time. Some of you, it's around work. Some of you, it's around love. Either way, it's like, do you want to continue to do something that it's almost, this is what happens a lot for us. We put so much time and energy into a situation that is part of our stability, part of our structure, whether that's work or a bond. And we're like, I don't really, that's all I know. Like, how could I walk away from this? How could I walk, But you're showing me here that the longer time has gone on, the more you have not been able to trust the situation, the more it's undermined equality, equanimity, fairness. It's almost like the path has been blocked to that. But what it's done, though, in the current energy is allowed you to look at this. At one point, you were like in a really negative place about this, but now you're shifting to a really positive place. But it's not about saying what someone else is doing is positive. It's about you focusing on what's best for you. I want to clarify this Hangman. You're clearing up some pain in your heart. Four of Pentacles. In reverse. The Ace of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. Wow. Some of you, this is a new love situation. Where someone maybe has not, this could even be a workplace situation around love. It's almost as though, from what I see here, a willful withdrawal from someone's feelings. And you feel it, you know it. There's a Page of Pentacles here, plans that could be made, a healing of the situation, an opening, an honesty, right? And I think it would make you really happy, but someone... it's almost like there was so much of a difference in the vibrational tones in the past between you and whatever you were dealing with that now in the current energy, you're like, F it. You know what I mean? I'm letting it go. You know what? It's fine. I'm not going to wait forever, right? There's something around you having to put something on hold. And at one point you were like all in. And now as time has gone on, you're like, you know what? Maybe this pause was good because now I'm not so sure if this is even for me. Because now I'm finding that it would lower me. It would take away from me. It wouldn't help me elevate. It's almost like you're looking at the level of unconditional love you hold and you're comparing where you are to where someone is or could be. And you're like, wait, whoa. This isn't going to be equal at all. Why was I even trying? And that's what you're trying to, it's like you're getting the data now based on time. Because you're coming from this stable place in the past. And I think you had an energy come in or an energy in your life that had been in your life for a while and it shifted and it threw you off. Whatever happened recently threw you off because you were like, I thought we were moving forward, whether it was a new person or you thought you were going to the next stage with someone you've already been with. Or you had a child in your life and you're trying to help them. And then there was almost like, I have to let go of control. The biggest thing I'm seeing in this whole reading is when you let go of control, you let the energy settle in the way they need to. And then you look at it and you learn and you shift and you elevate and you grow. And you change your perspective as time goes on. And you're looking at this and you're going, wow, I had no idea. At one point, you really, really, really wanted this to work out. And now you're like, if it's not for my highest good, I'm okay if it doesn't. I want to find out why you have a Five of Swords overshadowing this reading. I think you've been in internal conflict about whether something's really congruent with you, whether something's really a good fit for you. It could be a career path because of the Three of Pentacles, and you could be looking at making a big jump in your career after doing something for a long time and having it bring a lot of stability to you, but now you're at a crossroads. This is a major crossroads and trying to hone into your energy enough to trust your decision making in April. I'm glad you're coming to this reading because you are in a very important time in your life where you're making a big judgment call around a situation and around how to proceed or not proceed. Let's find out here. Five of Swords, Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Swords. No wonder. This is big. Two of Pentacles in reverse. You're making a decision. You're like, no more waffling, no more indecision. It's time to make a final judgment call. And some of you, it's around a career. You might be announcing, all right, I'm out, right? I'm going to retire in 6 months, or I'm going to, start looking for another job. Others of you, this could be a family situation where there needs to be a change because there's been conflict and an inability for people to come together and exercise compassion and understanding and forgiveness. And this has to do with an ongoing romantic bond. You can still have your heart open to somebody and protect your energy and pull back. And I think what you're doing is you're putting an end to indecision and allowing something to be unstable in your life, which is, I'm talking about the emotional instability of someone that you're constantly in a state of resistance because of their lack of bringing fairness to the table and balance to the situation. I think you're going to be communicating something to a certain someone, whether it's the the boss, the child, the loved one. You're taking a stand here, Aquarius. And I think you're saying, I can't continue to allow this to be so unstable in my life, up and down, because your stability matters. You're making a big decision to put yourself first. This is really, I see you holding so much power and your discernment. And that's what discernment is all about these days. It really is. Are you going to keep feeding a wound that is now so blatantly obvious? Or are you going to start healing and going inward and working on yourself and putting all of that playful love into you? Because you've got hurt here. There you go. Hermit. Take care of yourself. Another, oh, wow. Oh, man. At first, I was like, okay, everything's cool, everything's cool. And then the more I've gone on, the more we have now we have the Six of Swords. We have 2, 3 of Swords. And what you don't see coming. I think that you are walking away from something. This looks like you at least need to pull back your energy enough to be inward with the Hermit. There's some sort of spiritual lesson here, and you being strong enough and courageous enough to turn your attention towards you. Some of you are mothers or fathers, and you're tending to, it's almost like there's been almost like a leakage of energy towards a situation or a person that is undermining your stability. And I think it's time when we get to the Six of Swords, it's usually when we have to move away from a situation so we can at least do the tending, the emotional tending to our needs so we can heal. So I see you doing that. I see you doing that. Some of you start dating somebody and you thought it would go the distance and you hit some roadblocks. And then as time has gone on, you're realizing that there might not be a way to bring this together. But the biggest thing is holding enough compassion for self and the other for what it's teaching you, for what it's showing you, what it's revealed to you about your path at this time. I want to get a spirit animal. What spirit animal wants to come forward to give Aquarius a special message for the second half of April? What animal? We have 2. Frog spirit. Clear out the clutter. Otter spirit, you are never alone. And antelope spirit, life is speeding up. I don't know why, but this is really pulling me the strongest because I do believe this has to do with the love bond. We started out with the Queen and King of Cups. And we have 6 again, number 42. We have 2 and we have 1. So we go from a soul bond to a new beginning and moving on, moving forward. This could be somebody that you've had in your life for a long time with these 2 tens. But if anything, I don't know if this is the end of the bond itself, but it's the end of the indecision. It's the end of allowing something to steal your peace, Aquarius. And you having compassion for the situation is going to be much better than having anger. It is undeniable here the amount of hurt that you're feeling, okay? There's 2, 3 of Swords. It's like the longer you're realizing that the longer you try to fix someone, change the situation, help them be more compassionate, it's deepened your ability to be compassionate, not towards them necessarily. You have to have, and I've been saying this to the air signs, you have to have more self-love than you do love for the other, because that's what is required in a situation where you are actually experiencing greater hurt than love. You're as time has gone on, there's been an accumulation of pain. And until you start to address that and you pull your energy away, this isn't going to resolve anyway. Let's look at Otter Spirit. We have number 42. You were never alone. Like true friends, otters nurture each other and express their affection through touch. Actions such as holding hands and giving hugs offer reassurance that we are never really alone and that we are always cherished. Otter Spirit has appeared to remind you to experience and express friendship in a tangible and even tactile way. Communicate with your voice, your facial expressions, your gestures, and your actions, letting your love express itself beyond just the words you speak. Otter Spirit's message is that presence matters, so remember to be fully present with those you care about, helping them sense the love and affection and appreciation you have for them. Now is the time for a joyful celebration of the love in your life that expresses as friendship and companionship. Hug someone, touch their arm, or simply look into their eyes with your full attention saying, I care, you matter. Make time for friendship. Otter Spirit promises that the moment you reach out, you will remember that you too have many who love and care about you. You are never alone and you are always loved. I see why Spirit is sending this to you, because there are so many people that love you, Aquarius, that know how much you've been going through. And if you haven't, I think you're starting to open up to people and you're taking a rest, you're purifying your emotional waters, you're exercising fierce compassion for yourself and in time for the situation itself. You're clearing out some sort of emotional baggage. And I think that whatever's weighing you down, once you release that, you're gonna speed up into the summer months. But you do have a soul bond that has gone through a lot of anguish, a lot of fighting, a lot of almost like it could be off and on, or a denial of the truth. There's been some deception here, almost like the denial of like, everything's fine, we can work it out. And then time goes on and it's actually getting worse and worse as time goes on. And now your spiritual lesson here is this was all about you having more self-love, loving yourself more than allowing someone to take that from you and not getting that back in return. Again, there does seem to be a situation now where you need to nurture self and move through some pain. This could be pain that you haven't given yourself enough time on your own in solitude to deal with. Sometimes this is when I did this, when I got divorced, I met someone pretty quickly. This was 5 years ago. No, further than that, where I just couldn't deal with the pain of what I was going through. And I wanted someone to distract me. But then I realized that I was running away from my true feelings. And it just snowballed into even more pain, because when I attracted this new person post-divorce that quickly, it was like 4 or 5 months after a divorce, I didn't give myself enough time alone. And I wasn't showing up in that frequency of really that readiness for a relationship. So I see that Spirit is saying that it's really time for you to put energy into you, Aquarius. That you've dealt with enough of the pain. And if you keep running away from it, it will continue to follow you. I feel like it's time for you, the level of love you give to others, it's time for you to give that to yourself. I'm going to get this one. Let's get some advice to end this. Yeah. 10 of Swords, Queen of Swords. I think you're deciding that you don't want to continue to go down this path for now, that you need at least a pause. Yeah. There's some karmic changes. This is a huge ending in your life. For some of you, it's a career ending that you've been ambivalent about walking away from, but you're not happy, and your fulfillment matters. And you're realizing the more you wait and pull back and look at things, from this surrender, okay, I want to see the truth now. You're realizing, I why am I not giving myself the love that I deserve by putting up with whatever this is, this unhealthy situation, whether it's in work or in a love bond. And it's a hard lesson. Let's get some advice. King of Wands, You're turning up the fire. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Nine of Swords. All right, I want to get, Six of Wands. Yeah, I feel like your advice is, it's almost like when you put so much time and energy into something, it's hard to admit defeat because you took on the responsibility of fixing somebody, and now that they're not fixed, it's like that's codependency. So Spirit's kind of like, I kind of wanted to avoid that word, but this is when we take on people and we feel like if we just love them enough and nurture them enough and cater to their needs enough, that they'll change. And Spirit is saying, if anything, what this has taught you is that your fire energy, putting it into people as projects, right? Page of Pentacles in reverse, Six of Wands in reverse, doesn't always yield you the results you want. Typically, it just creates more resistance. So what I'm seeing in you is this need to come out of mental anguish and stress and anxiety, trying to put your energy into somebody who you see as a project in your life, knowing that, ultimately this person has resisted you more and more as time has gone on. And then you let go and you surrender it all. And you realize all that energy you were putting into they this, they that, they. You turn it into I. And you're like, oh, this is a big lesson for all the air signs. And I've been slowly piecing each air sign. I've had a big gap in the air signs because it feels like the air energy is really looking at long-term bonds. This doesn't even have to be a romantic bond. It could be a lifelong friend. Somebody that was your ride or die. And you're like, they're not where I am. And they're not really being kind. And you're telling me kindness matters to you. And anyone who's been in your life for a long period of time, if they cannot be kind and understanding and compassionate, you're like, I don't want that energy in my life. It's almost like a poison energetically for me. It's almost like there's so much pureness in you. Don't dilute it with energies that are unhealthy. And I don't want to talk about people being negative here. I'm just saying it's the polarity, right? The duality of life. Where is someone vibrating? When you're around them, does it drain you? Are you trying to fix them? Are you putting up with a situation, right, that's draining you? And I see that you are, and your victory is going to lie in you taking that fire energy of yours and moving away from this person, place, or thing, okay? So that's your advice. This has been an intense reading because I think you're reaching your limit with what you will tolerate in a situation in your life. And just know that you have a lot of love around you. You're not alone. Lean on the people that are coming from a place of open-heartedness, of unconditional love. This is when we have to strip away during this karmic year and let go of the things that we know are not going to help us become a better version of ourselves. Ultimately, that's the lesson. By letting go, you become the better version. But by staying, you're shrinking and you're staying the same. And Spirit is saying you need to grow and evolve beyond this because it's holding you back. Okay? This is not a state you want to live in. So you've got the 2 Ten of Swords here coming up. Your advice is save yourself a lot of pain by removing people from your life that are negative, that are unwilling to change, and give you the healthy, secure love you deserve. Okay? All right. I think you got the message, Aquarius. I love you. You're going to get through this time, okay? All right. Namaste.